Hey Alaric, have you seen the Banshee anywhere?
You waste time.
No, not that one. I knew it was a bad idea to research Cloak. The Banshee is categorized as the Terran's tactical strike aircraft, with only 140 health but 24 damage per attack, unupgraded. They are essentially airborne glass cannons. They are made from a starport with a tech lab and have two major uses in my experience. The most common use is economic harassment in an opening build. If you can get one or two Banshees in the right drone line, they can deal devastating damage. The second use is what I like to call all-in insurance. If you can guarantee a Banshee's safety, its high damage output can be quite valuable, and they are my go-to defense against Roach or Nidus all-ins in TVZ, for example. Just be careful against Ravagers and Queens. It should be noted that there are two research upgrades available from the Starport Tech Lab for Banshees. The first is Cloaking Field, which grants all Banshees their energy-draining, oversized hoodies that can be used to hide from non-detector enemies. The second research is Hyperflight Rotors, which will increase all Banshee's movement speed from the default 3.85 to a whopping 5.25. The recipe for dealing with Banshees, generally, is 1 part awareness and 1 part intimidation. Since Banshees lack any semblance of durability, they tend to do very poorly in direct combat with units that can actually fight back. As soon as you suspect Banshees are in play, be sure to get detection. No matter what faction you are playing, be sure to get some static defense for your mineral lines and mobile detectors for your army, such as overseers or observers. Unless you're Terran, that is, because then you might be able to get away with just using your orbital command map hacks. But no, seriously, make a Raven. Terran players, Stim Marines and Vikings are both fantastic choices for dealing with Banshees. If you're more partial to building mech, though, then the obvious choice is Thors. I did some testing to compare the two different Thor anti-air modes. Although Banshees are tagged as light, thus triggering the bonus damage from the Javelin missile launchers, it only performs well if the Banshees are grouped up. If your opponent splits up the Banshees, you will actually get more damage per second from the Thor's 250mm Punisher cannons, also known as the high impact mode. Protoss, a handful of stalkers can get you through the early game. However, you should absolutely open either Robo or Stargate to allow for their respective detector options. This is probably a good idea anyways, since Widow Mines are so prevalent in TVP. For the later stages of the game, you can find safety with both Gateway and Stargate options. Archons are always nice, but High Templar can be helpful too, since Banshees are targetable with both feedback and Psystorm. Obviously, Banshees have no anti-air attack, so keeping them away with Phoenix or Void Rays is always feasible. Zerg players, Queens are marvelous for early game defense, and don't be afraid to invest in a few spore crawlers to protect your mineral lines or tech structures as the game progresses. Although your reliable anti-air units are limited to essentially Hydras or Corruptors, I want to also draw attention to the supportive abilities from the Infestor and Viper. Fungal growth can greatly slow down the Banshees and disable their cloak, while Microbial Shroud can protect your Hydralisks during the battle. The Viper's Parasitic Bomb will force your enemy to choose between splitting up the Banshees or losing everything. Few things can create an aura of panic like hearing workers die to a cloaked unit. Banshees are one of the Terran's premier units for this glorious purpose. The Banshee may not scream, but your opponent probably is, and you can take comfort in that. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.